Okay, how we check mine? We are live already. I'm gonna check mine. So let's see how it goes. Okay, let me keep playing this. Why?
Dr. Adewuya, still to start.
Hello and welcome to another enlightening episode of Real Men's Talk Show, where it is sizzling hot, interactive, and transforming. Today, we embark on a journey to prioritize something that often takes a backseat in our busy lives: our well being. We are diving deep into prioritizing men's well being. Some weeks ago, we celebrated International Men's Day. And a lot of men are wondering, do we actually celebrate men? Are we forgetting our men? That is why we are talking about this topic: prioritizing men's well being, a focus on health and wellness. A topic close to our hearts as we explore the key pillars that contribute to a healthier and more fulfilling life. In a world that seems to constantly demand more from us, it is crucial to pause and consider how we are taking care of ourselves physically, mentally, and emotionally. From mental health check ins to tips for maintaining physical fitness, we've got an insightful lineup of discussions to help guide us toward a path of greater well being. Our guests today bring a wealth of experience from and wisdom, and we invite you, our valued audience, to join the conversation. Whether you are tuning in for the personal insights or to gather ideas for supporting the well being of the men in your life, you are in for an engaging and enriching discussion. So let us dive in and prioritize our health and wellness together. Today on the show, I have two people joining me. First, I would like to introduce our guest on the show today. He is a fellow of the West African College of Physicians, the Family Medicine Faculty. His name is Dr. Olufemi M. Olubi, consultant family physician, Bafro Medical Center, the Gambia. Dr. Olubi, you are welcome on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Okay. I also have my co-host with me, Mama T. You're welcome on the show. Okay, we go ahead with the
Thank
questions.
you,
Doctor, are you
Dr.
ready?
Adewia, and we want to say thank you
All
to
right.
Dr. Obi. And welcome guests to Women's Talk, where it is sizzling hot, interactive, and transforming.
All right. Before we go ahead, I would like to ask you, Dr. Olubi, do you have any presentation for us, or we can go ahead and ask you questions while you give us insights into prioritizing men's health?
Thank you very much, sir. I have a couple of things to present on a slideshow, and from that we can take it up with questions and answers because this thing it's as practical as it can be. So
Okay,
question
sir.
and answer session after that will help to clarify things.
Okay, thank you very much. So we can have your presentation now, sir.
Thank you. Just a minute.
Okay.
Yes. Can you see my slides?
Um, okay, yes, sir.
Great.
The one with the tie and the gift and the belt. Yes.
Okay. So today we'll be talking about men's well-being.
It's on now, sir.
All right, great. We'll be talking about men's well-being with a focus on health and wellness for the men in our society. This is just in commemoration of the Men's International Men's Day, uh, an episode that is being delivered through the Real Men's Talk. We'll just go through this in about 4 or 5 subheadings. Why do we need to talk about men's health? What are the things that affect men's health? And if we're able to identify one or two of such factors, how do we correct or make amendment in our own personal lives or in the life of our loved ones? Yes, a man is an adult human male as is procreated and given birth to. Um, we have distinguished characteristics from women, as everybody knows, and there are some things that may affect us either individually or collectively together in a society. So we need to talk about this so that we don't we don't we don't break down the pillar that holds our society. The World Health Organization (WHO) uh, defined health for us as a complete state of both physical and mental well-being. In fact, even including the social well-being, not just the mere absence of diseases or illnesses. So we men, we are human that are entitled to being healthy, and our life matters a lot. We too, we matter. This is why I want to talk about women's health. It's been observed in every society that men generally have a shorter life expectancy. This cuts across all uh, form of economic stratification of countries or communities. No matter how, you would notice that is either 3 or 5 years lesser than the life expectancy that is quoted for women in an environment is attributed to men. Why so? It's because there are some risk factors that may affect the life of a man. If you look around us, most families, by the time they reach those that grow up to old age, mostly the husband dies first before the wife. Secondly, if we look at the amount of people that die, maybe in their youthful age or middle age, who succumb to trauma, to accidents, or to any form of diseases, it's usually the male gender. If we go back even into when life begins, at the infancy stage and up to the first 5 years of age, uh, it can be said that more male die more than female. Our OBGY colleagues also know, as well as pediatricians, that when we talk of neonatal death and stressful life events when children are being born, if I have a premature female and a premature male neonate with my hand, I can always bet that the girl child will make it. So why so? Even as we transition later into life, some of us that survived the initial first 5 years of tumor, we need to do things differently and make sure we are able to take our family beyond the immediate into a ripe old age. So the things that affect men health could be risky behaviors. We take a lot of risk, talking of unhealthy living, consumption of alcohol and drugs, smoking cigarettes, shisha, kush, and all sorts of things as drug of addiction, uh, sexual escapade, and some other things that may put men at risk of contracting sexually transmitted diseases, including HIV, hepatitis, and attendant cancers that may come from them. Um, Also, some de novo health conditions like hypertension, diabetes, cancers are known to plague all human, but more so men as we age. Now, of course, mental illnesses is something that has come to the fore in these last 1 or 2 decades. We see a lot of suicide, a lot of depression, a lot of aberrant behavior from men that either leads to their incarceration or even sentenced to life imprisonment or at times death sentence. So these are things that call short the life of men folk amidst us. So these various factors can be grouped into either the physical, the social, the mental, and the spiritual ways in aspects that may affect us. So the medical factors now, like I said earlier, as we age, things like hypertension and diabetes, prostate issues, either the benign enlargement or the cancers, and even cancers of the liver, cirrhosis from alcohol ingestion, heart disease, lung disease and cancer, COPD from those that smoke, stroke, and a whole lot of other things can cut short the life of a man. Um, some of these things can be as a result of the gender that we have. Some is as a result of the gender interplaying with the kind of life we have chosen to live before then, or even just age related. So things like hypertension, colorectal CA, testicular CA, prostate cancer, and even benign prostate enlargement, which, if not taken care of, can affect the kidney and eventually affect the life, cut short the life of a man, has to do with being a man, our gender. And like said earlier on, our risky lifestyles may equally affect us negatively. Talking about people who smoke, people who drink, people who are promiscuous without taking necessary precautions. And the next form of addiction now that is coming creeping into our society is obesity and attendant issues that emanate from living a sedentary lifestyle. Yes, I'm an executive. I'm a big man. I'm a businessman. I'm very busy. I don't have time. So I sit in an office from morning to night. I eat all sort of junk food. I drink whatever comes my way. Before I know it, I become obese, and other things come in attendant to that. So those are some of the physical things that may mitigate against men living long enough in this life. Then we have some psychosocial or so-called mental issues that may affect. We are talking about things like that. A man is constantly under stress. He has to cater for the whole family. He has to cater for that's immediate nuclear family, extended family in the community. They are either the chairman, the local government headquarters chairman, the chairman of a landlord association, the governors, and the rest. More of these positions are occupied by men, and we can see that each of these positions, even right from the home, come with attendance responsibilities, and there are risks that of being overwhelmed with stress that may come with it. So we see that such men, they find it difficult sleeping, or even the other way is the other side of the coin is also possible, which is not healthy, sleeping too much. A lot of people try to cope with this different kind of stress in their life, taking drugs, drinking alcohol, and some even they say they overthink. That is obsessive thinking, or they develop some compulsive behavior. I learned there is a psychiatrist in the house. Maybe it will shed some more light on how this may affect our life. Then there are some of these things, if cannot be contained adequately, or if we have a faulty coping mechanism, it may now show up in anger, because the man is always angry, booming and shouting, beating and abusing whether the wife or the children or anybody that comes his way. Is very irritable, aggressive, and may even go to the extent of exhibiting mood disorders and depression or whatever. All these, if not properly controlled, if not properly attended to, may make a man to commit suicide, or may make a man to go into have homicidal tendencies. And of course, by the time the long hand of the law catches up with such a man, he will have to face the music either as life sentence, prison, jail time, or death penalty. Uh, the psychosocial issues that may further affect men are pressure. Like I said, a younger brother just sent, it's the end of the month, uncle send money. Uh, the niece and nephew, brother send money. This is what obtains in our society, and it puts a lot of pressure on the family man. The need to be strong no matter what, which is the way in which our society has brought us up. Even my little 9-year-old boy, when we took him to emergency for a care, he started shouting when they wanted to draw his blood. I said, come on, don't you be a man. That is what they told us from the beginning of our lives. It's seen as though when a man shows emotions, when a man shows that he is vulnerable, when he seeks help, when he cries out, the society tends to say, no, you are not supposed to do that. You should be a man, you should stomach it. Forgetting that the same physiology that goes on in our body, it goes on with the female folks too. So the way the society sees us, they expect you to be super intelligent, super strong physically. You should not cry. You should not show any form of emotion. Otherwise, it will be termed weakness. In fact, the society expects that a man should do whatever it takes, even to go ahead and provide for his family. For those who have very poor coping mechanism, they may do things that will be, sorry, excuse me, they may do things that may affect them and the society negatively. So, and in the study by Guri and his colleagues in 1997, he focused very well on this. He talks about boys don't cry and men don't shed tears, saying that you should bottle it up, suck it up, and move on with life. And like I said, all these bottled up emotions, bottled up stress and anger may cut short the life of a man. Then we discover that even generally as a man, we have so much inculcated and adapted this into our life such that we find it very difficult to express our pain and suffering. So you see a man is suffering and he still has to smile. Or you see a man suffering in silence, as he said, he becomes gradually isolated from friends, from family, from the society. He lives a life of loneliness, which may need drugs or alcohol as a coping mechanism, which we know will also affect the life, the health of such a man. And then there are some that they have a way of expressing or externalizing what they are going through psychologically by doing high risky behavior. It has studies have shown that there are people like that who have poor coping mechanisms. That is when they go out, they start chasing girls or chasing women, or they drive recklessly on the road and do all sorts of things. And we know the epidemic of domestic abuse that we are having in our society now. Uh, this may be both as a result or cause of bad coping mechanism in a man's life. Yes, men too can be abused, whether emotionally or even physically. Yes, there are spiritual things that may equally affect the health of a man. I mean, uh, spirituality is a way in which is a form of acknowledging that there is a higher power and being in equilibrium with the life we live, both with ourselves, people around us, and even the environment. Whichever way you are able to achieve this, it's spirituality. But for men, we tend to, if you go to churches, you go to mosques, you go to shrines and temples, chances are that you see more of women being participatory in such factors, in such gatherings. Because before you see a man, you probably would have seen three, four, five, if not 10 women praying and fasting. Yes, men tend to be more analytical. We want to think of physical things, how we can get things done, how we can, the so-called overthinking, being stressed out instead of relying on spiritual power. Whether we like it or not, there is a force that is higher than what we see here, that directs us. Whether you're a Christian, a Muslim, Hindu, or whatever faith you belong to, all of us know, even our own forefathers that had the so-called traditional religion, we all know that there is a superpower that is above all of us. But when we tend to overanalyze and rely on ourselves, we deny ourselves such an opportunity to be helped by such superpowers. And of course, we get too busy, the so-called rat race, chasing money up and down, that even to meditate or study the word of God or gather with people around may not be very possible. So we discover that men, we just say for the Christians that lost prayer rapidly, maybe when you are in your car, that's the prayer for today, for those who remember to pray. Anyway, so we tend to lose out on the spiritual reinforcement, enhancement, or empowerment that can help us in our day-to-day life. Then we are also endangered by a lot of predators. Well, the one in this slide is the so-called strange women. You know that concept in our society. Those that are there, they see a successful man. Oh, he's doing very well. They want it for them. Not know that this same man may belong to another woman or another family. Of course, we have men too that project on other men, whether as thieves or gangsters or fraudsters. We have that. And a lot of things like being engaged in sexual promiscuity and other things can also have negative effect on our spirituality. Now, the question is way forward. What do we do to address this? We need to take care of our health. That is why we are here. We need to take responsibility. Not that as a person, no other person will do it for me. This is an aspect of our life that we have to DIY. You do it yourself. As you lay your bed, so you shall lie on it. But however, there is a place for getting help from others, for speaking out to get help from friends, families, community, society, or healthcare institutions. So we need to do that. We need to go to hospital regularly, whether when we are done with illnesses or not. Personally, I advocate that any man that is been privileged to live to age 40 years should form that habit of, if not annual or 2 yearly, 3 yearly medical checkup. This will help us so that we don't wait until some of the chronic illnesses that cannot be cured will creep in on us with complications before we start addressing them. We need to be compliant. For those that have one illness or the other that are being treated, we need to be adherent to our medications. We need to be adherent to the management plan that our healthcare professional have given unto us. We need to, above all, live a healthy life. Live a healthy life by eating healthy, exercising regularly, getting adequate sleep, and stop risky behavior. And these are the things we can do to help us cope better in life, uh, preserve us in good health, and prolong our lives. Uh, but this should be personalized for each and every one of us. We need to know ourselves. Yes, I am Olufemi. This is my temperament. These are the things that can trigger my anger. These are the things that can stress me out. Then I take adequate precaution to prevent them. After preventing them, if I feel like I'm getting overwhelmed uh, from pressure here and there, then I need to take adequate rest. I need to speak out. Yes, oh, bro, issues like this is coming up in my life. How can you be of help? You know, a problem shared is almost 50%, if not more, solved. Even listening here alone could go a long way in alleviating some of the stress or psychological effect of this in our life. Then we need to schedule time on daily basis to rest. We need to schedule time, whether yearly, 6 monthly, or quarter yearly, to go on vacation, to take time out to rest. Then we need also to attend to our spirituality. Whatever works for you, wherever you take your succor, you need to constantly go back there. As a Christian, as a Muslim, as a traditionalist or Hindu, you need to constantly go back to your source to refill your energy. Uh, that is it. Uh, Prayer can solve all problems, at least. If not solved immediately, we are sure it will not get worse. It relieves us psychologically that we have spoken to God and God will answer us. We need to study God's word, uh, whether it's the Bible, or whatever holy book, Quran or Hadith, you study and you have faith that things will be well. Then, apart from just having faith in the superior being that guides our life or the word of God that we come across, we need to be positive. A positive mind, it's like a buffer. It's like it has cushion effect, so that the stress around us will not get to us. Yeah, if you approach a day with saying that, oh, this day is going to be very stressful, I'm overwhelmed, I cannot cope, from the morning, you discover that such a day you go to bed almost overwhelmed. But if you have a positive outlook, even when you have a flat tire on the road, you still know that things can still work out. Oh, you have a jack. If you don't have a jack to do that, somebody has come to lend you a hand. Appreciate God for that. Appreciate the goodness of nature for that, and move on. Then we should always ask for help. Thank you very much. I would like to take questions so that we can make it as practical as possible.
Thank you very much, Dr. Olubi, for that wonderful and insightful piece. It was very enlightening, and you've answered many of the questions we would have loved to ask, but we still have some questions and we want you to enlighten us further on some things that you talked about in the course of the presentation. Actually, to talk about the health of a man takes a long time, and I don't think that we can exhaust it in 1 hour, but we'll do our best. I would like to talk about the role of physical fitness, the importance of physical fitness in the life of a man. You've given us the importance of exercise and lifestyle modification. I'm going to ask practical tips for incorporating exercise into a man's busy schedule. I'm saying this because many of the men go out early in the morning, they come back late in the evening, and when you tell them to do exercise, and the question they ask is, when do I have the time? How
There's
do
no
I
time.
do it?
Yes.
So, how does a man incorporate exercise into his busy schedule? And are there specific types of exercise or workouts that can be beneficial and can actually fit into any man's busy schedule?
Thank you very much. Yes, we know we live in this life of getting things done quickly, the computer age, the rat race is ongoing every minute, every second of the day. Yes, we are very busy. We have just 24 hours, but we must attend to what is should be priority. Like I usually tell my patient, the most expensive thing on earth is our health, our life. I saw a skit somewhere and it really got me thinking that if I were to give you $10 million, will you take it? I'm sure most people will say yes. Okay. If you will take it, will you thank me? You will say yes. And if I give you a condition that, okay, take the $10 million today, but you will not wake up tomorrow, will you want to take it? Nobody will dare to touch such. At least no right thinking man is expected to touch such. This is because we value life more than any amount of money. Yes, life is a accumulation of minutes, seconds, hours, and everything that spans our lifetime. We pray we live into ripe old age. But the determining factor that will decide whether we live to ripe old age or we stay in good, healthy old age is how we handle our health issues. And like we have mentioned, living a healthy life is a cornerstone to achieving that. One of the things that we need to do regularly as a man is to exercise. We are very busy. No matter the amount of time we want to give to every other thing to get money done or to get our occupation or assignments completed, we must allocate time to exercise. When we talk about a session of exercise medically, for those that are in physical therapy, is any activity that you are able to do that will raise your heart rate to 100 beats per minute or beyond, that will make you to breathe heavily and you sweat. And if you are able to sustain that for 20 minutes, that is a session of exercise. Now, there are different type of modes of exercising. So one that is known to be very beneficial for our health, our cardiovascular health, is called aerobic exercise. You can walk, brisk walking, you can jog, you can do what is it called? Some of these aerobics, jumping, dancing. I even saw a team of people dancing as a form of exercise, some energetic dances. Yes, they are very. You can do cycling if you know how to ride a bicycle. uh, Gymnastics, you can do them. But the question is, we may not have time to do all these things. Personally, what I found to work for me is trying to incorporate my session of exercises to my busy scale schedule. Now, take for instance, if I am to board a car to my place of work, or I am to be picked up by a driver to my place of work, I would rather give them a location which is not close to my house, maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes walk, that can walk down to be picked up or to get a cab. And on the way coming back, you can do that too. If you want to pay a visit to a friend, you want to get something from the shop or supermarket around the corner, instead of going with your car, if you can ride a bicycle, do that. If you cannot ride a bicycle, use that as a session to walk, brisk walking. It helps. So there is no hard and fast rule about this. You just have to find what works for you. Yes, people go to the gym to lift weight, people go to the pitch to play football or basketball or whatever, but there are people that have some health condition. If you have arthritis, if you have fibromyalgia, if you have some form of obesity or whatever that is limiting movement, that does not mean you can. It means you cannot play football or you cannot jog, but that does not mean that you still cannot exercise. You can at least walk. Yoruba said, "Àìdúró níjó." Permit me to say that for those who don't understand Yoruba. That is, in as much as you are not standing still in a place, you are dancing to the rhythm of the music. So, in as much as you are not sedentary, seated in one place, you are not in a position, moving up and down, it works a lot. So, I will advise that we try to, as much as possible, incorporate this to our schedules, as explained.
Thank you very much, sir. When it comes to our health, prevention is better than cure. And one of the ways that we can prevent health conditions is by having proper nutrition, eating a balanced diet. I've noticed that for our men, most of the time nowadays, we don't even get to eat breakfast before we go to work because we are rushing to work. And when we get to our place of work, by the time we are getting out of glucose, then people start hawking cold drinks that contain a lot of
Yes.
sugar. And I've noticed that there's a vicious cycle of stress and sugar, more stress, more sugar. And at the end of the day, it causes a lot of problem for our men. What can we do as men to actually improve our nutrition and actually improve our health in the process? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Um, like I mentioned then, that we need to eat healthy. It takes a very conscious effort to do that. Well, thank God is men's talk, they call it, but I can see some faces here. The so-called how do I translate this into English? Àwọn egun tó wà àwọn igi tó wà lẹ́yìn ọgbà
The, sup-
dúró,
the
talking
support
about
system.
our women,
Support
talking
system.
about our women and wives at home, that yes, thank you very much, that serve as support system for us. Yes, if the marriage is harmonious and they stay together, not Baba in Kafancha, Iya in Sokoto or Maguduguri, that you are not living by yourself. You can always package something healthy to be eaten at work. That's if you cannot wait to eat breakfast before you leave home. That is one. And we should take conscious effort to avoid as much as possible the so-called junk or fast food. What I preach, what I practice is that I would rather take a drop of sniper than take these so-called sugar-laden drinks, the soft drinks and juice preparation. I would rather take a drop of sniper organophosphate. We all know sniper is a poison.
Yes.
Yes, that is the way it is eventually to our system. If we have the opportunity, for those who have cafeterias or canteens in their place of work, they should make preference for things that are organically produced, not canned food that you don't know how they come by. That is one. Preferably fruits and vegetables, and to shun alcohol consumption as well as heavy sugar intake, like you said. Uh, yes, we know sugar is sweet, salt is sweet, fat and oil makes food to be palatable to the mouth. But unfortunately, these are things that are killing us softly, as that woman sang. So that is it. We need to really watch what we eat. As a person, I have made that decision. If If I can't eat in my house, then I will not eat until I come back. The best I can do is to take fruit.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. We are still talking about the men and maintaining a proper balance in terms of health and a lot of things that men have to go through. As a man, you go to work, you need to put food on the table. And because of the economy, a lot of men are having to do double shifts, having to have a side business. And there's really no balance because this man gets home too, he still has responsibilities in the home. We know that in this day and age, the responsibilities that men actually take in the home is actually increasing. The feminist movement, the equality movement is making a man do more in the home than before. And the man still has to contribute his quota to the society, church, organizations, and things like that. And he has to do all this within a time frame. And after some time, if the man is not careful, he caves into pressure, he breaks down. How does a man maintain a balance? As a man, how does he maintain a balance? And for employers of labor, how do they create that work-life balance? Because we've seen a lot of employers of labor who just overwork their members, and their members just become so tired, they become so fed up that they end up taking their lives. And after these things happen, the employer will say, this person never told me this is going on. What are the things that a man can do on his own? Then what are the things that the employers of labor can do to actually promote that work-life balance and a better health, both physically and mentally for the men?
Yeah, thank you very much. If care is not taken, this epidemic of cutting life short, especially the men's life, is going to have an untoward effect on our society as a whole. But like they say, charity begins at home. So each and every one of us, we need to take steps. And from the home front, from individual persons front, it should spread to the home front. Then from our household to the community, and community, probably it becomes a countrywide thing. This is what I mean. As a person, like I said in the slide, I need to first be aware of the who I am. What are the things that can trigger me? I have to be emotionally aware if I am stressed out. That I need time out to be able to take care of my personal needs and refresh. Apart from doing that, I need to also know that the same thing that is applicable to me is applicable to every other man around me. So I should not push undue societal responsibility of be a man, do whatever it takes. Be a man, don't cry out for help. Be a man, suck it up, bottle it up, and move on. I should not have that attitude. I should encourage people to talk. I should offer listening here. I should be able to make a psychological referral when necessary, not necessarily as a medical doctor now. I'm talking just as a man. When I see somebody distressed, encourage them to talk. We advise them. If I cannot resolve it, I encourage them to go and see a professional, whether a psychologist, a psychotherapist, or a psychiatrist. Even if it's just your imam or your pastor, go and talk to somebody. Even if it's just the elders in the family, go and talk to them. These things have a way of helping us to strike balance. That is one. Then, apart from that, I should train my boy child and even my girl child that it is okay to feel vulnerable. It is okay to look for help. It is not unmanly to cry. If you are overwhelmed and shedding tears will help you to unbottle your emotion, cry. If you need to speak out, talk so that you don't bottle up into depression, anger, irritability, suicide, or homicidal tendencies will now come in. No, we should rethink. Culture is a dynamic thing that should change. What they have been teaching us that you have to be a man, you have to be a man. Well, it's high time we change the narrative. Let's teach the forthcoming generation after us that we can live a healthier life by being a man providing, but being a man, first being a man that is a healthy man who will be able to provide. Then apart from the family front, yes, I found myself in a church gathering, in a mosque, or even at my place of work. I should encourage this also. People to come out to speak, to check on people's well-being. This will also help them to open up. And if for one or two of us that might have find ourselves in positions of authority that we can influence things, we should encourage legislation, then through advocacy to make things to change, so that people can easily come out and access health. And if you happen to be an executive or a director or head of a corporation, no matter how small, even if it's just a five-man business that you have, we should let people know that it is good to seek for help. As a man, I like you said, so there are some people that are slave drivers. They push, 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 and over push their employees up to the edge. And they now say, I don't know. They are being hypocrite. At my place of work where I work now, I was dumbfounded by the time I got there. I noticed things that they do that is not commonplace in what happens in Nigeria where I came from there. How can people just all of a sudden say they are giving you this complimentary breakfast at work? They give you something, a good place to stay. If you are stressed out in any way, they are checking on you as though they are checking on a baby. Initially, I thought, is it that these people are just doing me initial boju boju so that I will not run away? After a year, 2 years, is it that these people they have something else hidden that I don't understand? But having spent more than 5 years now, I could see that there is wisdom in what they do. Because if you are settled psychologically, you work exponentially beyond what you even think you can do. Before you know it, you have your complimentary breakfast. Oh, you need time to, oh, doctor, please take 30 minutes, take 1 hour off. You can go to the restroom and rest. You have that one, you come back. By the time it's 4, 5, you have been there since 8 a.m. Oh, they gave you breakfast. By the time it's 4, 5, they go, okay, come, do you like coffee? This evening coffee and some cookies and tea or whatever for you. You feel refreshed and you continue your work. By the time you are done 8 p.m., you feel, time has gone like this. You don't know. So that thing, each corporation, each organization should encourage this. It's cheaper. It's cheaper to make people stay in health than to drive them until they fall sick. Because the day that I am sick and I take 3 days off, the truth be told, the money that I'm supposed to generate for that company or for that organization, that money will not come in. They probably have to look for extra hand to fill my space, though they are paying. And that does not mean that they will not pay me my salary for the same period that I did not work. So as organization, we should try to talk to encourage people to even go for their checkup. We can do an annual checkup for men or women over 40 years and say, okay, we'll pay 50%. The person should pay 50%. That's if you don't have health insurance. But if you have health insurance, encourage them to do. If anybody has any chronic illness, diabetes, hypertension, asthma, arthritis, when there are periods that you know that they are getting stressed out, check on them. How are you doing? Have you seen your doctor? I hope everything is all right. In fact, that will bolster the person to even do more. So that's what I will encourage. Unfortunately, uh, in our society here, mostly in Africa, because of paucity of funds and the limited resources we have, we tend to wait until our health has nosedive into sicknesses and illnesses before we start taking reparatory measures, which is counterproductive in my own thinking. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. You also talked about spirituality, and the one thing I know about spirituality is that it instills hope into everybody. If you're a very spiritual person, you have hope, irrespective of which situation you are, and it actually has a way of actually reducing the rate of mental breakdown or even suicide. And another thing it does is social support and belonging. Some people church or mosque or social gatherings, spiritual gatherings is their own form of social support. That's why they have their group of friends and everything. But one thing I noticed is that because of westernization, urbanization, people traveling out of the country, our society, our strength used to be in Africa, our strength used to be our communal living. One person has a problem, it becomes the problem of everybody. But we are living that village setting now, everybody's going to the cities and everybody's going abroad. And by the time you get there, you just realize that you're alone. You can't open up yourself to anybody. Nobody really cares about you. Everybody's going their normal business. And if you are married, your wife and your children becomes the only source of support for you. And if you are not married, you are just on your own. What can men do to actually get more social support, irrespective of whether they are married or they have family members or not? A man finding himself maybe in Manchester and is alone, what are the things a man can do to actually get this social support? Because it is very, very important. What are the things that a man can do?
Yeah, thank you very much. This is the reality of our time now. Mm. Uh, the village life, like you said, in quote, is fading out gradually. Urbanization has creeped in. Uh, Mobility of labor has taken a lot of us away from our ancestral home. But at the same time, we have to maintain that attachment to our ancestral belief in a superior being that takes care of all of us. Yes, spirituality. Uh, well, as the modern day challenges come, also comes the various opportunity with it. We can practice mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness in the sense that you are aware of what you are passing through. You are not denying that. You acknowledge the fact that this has effect on you, whether it is anger, whether it is sadness, whether it makes you to be happy. You acknowledge that. Now, you go a step further to see about the things happening around you and the effect on yourself. How does it affect people close to you? How does it affect your work? Then you try to maintain a sense of calmness within so that you don't get yourself agitated. If you have spiritual verses from the Bible, from the Quran, from Hadith, from any holy scripture, you read and meditate on them. Take time out quiet when you are less agitated. Yes, we are busy men. We can do that while driving to work in the morning or while coming back. You can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes out in a day just to meditate and stay calm. Uh, we can go a step further uh, and try to use the benefit of the internet that we have now. Yes, I'm in the Gambia, maybe some of you other people and outside Africa, but here we are still communicating with each other. If I have a bosom friend or a close dear brother whom I feel so comfortable to share my problems with, to seek advice from. Yes, we can leverage things like this, the Zoom meeting, the LinkedIn and other things to communicate with each other and seek for support. So wọ́n sọ pé ajá ìwòyí ló lè pa ehoro ìwòyí. That is, we use the whatever resources that comes in our age and present time to solve the challenges, the problem that comes with the development and changes in our society. So that's what I will advise. And also, no matter what, we should not let any civilization, any urbanization, any busy schedule take the fact that there is a superior being that we can all make recourse to from time to time for help and wellness. That's God, Allah, or whichever name you call it. And lastly, you mentioned social support. I believe the first society that a man belongs to, when I say a man, not necessarily the male gender now, is the family. We must try as much as possible to make sure that the home front is palatable for us. Bọ́ọ̀dẹ̀ ọdún bí ìgbẹ́ni lórí, I'm very sorry, I'm a village boy. It shows that the adage shows that like if the home front is not good, then you go out there agitated, irritable, and you cannot cope with the stress out. So your family, your children, you must try to strive to live harmoniously with each and every one of them, and that can be extended to your next door neighbors and everything, so that in times of trouble, these people can come around and serve as a support system for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Luby. As a doctor, I see a lot of patients and I go to the clinic too, but I still see that when you look at the ratio of men to women, we still have more women coming to the clinics, either for medical outpatients, surgical outpatients, psychiatric clinics, any clinics, both even for presentation as admission cases, we have more women than men. And I know a lot of men are listening to us all over the world right now. Please, can you help us encourage the men on why it is important to actually take their health serious? Because we are seeing less of men. It is the men that patronize people on the streets, and these things about concussions that actually destroy their liver, their kidney. By the time we are seeing men, they would have taken so many things, many at times trying to conserve money because they want to be able to provide for the family and take up many responsibilities. So I want you to help us encourage the men to actually take their head serious, because the society actually needs the men to be around for much longer than they have been.
Yeah, thank you very much, Doc. Um, the importance of men taking care of their health, or let me say our health, cannot be overemphasized. And oh, sorry, I did not put it in my slides. I saw a picture, or I think it's the Greek mythology, that depicted Atlas carrying the burden of the whole world on his shoulder. That statue was not a woman, it's a man, which shows that we are the pillar of the society, whether we like it or not. Yes, we love our wives, we love our children, we love our younger ones in the family, our cousins, and the extended family. We want to provide for them, but we can only do as much as our life can take when we are alive. We can only do as much as our health permits. Because if I'm there lying on a sick bed with stroke or with heart failure, who am I of help to? Nobody. So eventually, it becomes penny wise, pound foolish. I want to save money so that I can give them extra 20,000 naira to get money for their feeding money. But when I fall sick, not only will the 20,000 not come, they will probably have to source for money to take care of me. So why don't I, out of the 20,000, take 10 to make sure that I'm in good health? So we cannot overemphasize the fact that men all over the world need to pay attention to our health care. It is very, very important. It is paramount. Something that we should go all out to do. Like they used to say, you can only help people when you yourself you are being helped. Because if I'm down, I cannot. If I'm down, that means I can't carry myself. How else do I carry other people? How else do I carry the burden of other people? So I will advise our menfold that every year for those about 40, 45, we should do medical checkup. We should eat healthy. We should take time out to rest. We should prioritize exercising. We should shun drug, alcohol, and other things that may have negative effects on us. And if we are getting overwhelmed by whatever issues in life, we should speak out. Talk to your fellow men, talk to your wife if you are in a relationship, talk to your pastor, your imam, talk to your brothers, talk to trusted colleagues and allies at work, so that at least you can put heads together and forge on. Then we should not forget the place of prayer, spirituality, meditation, and wellness. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doctor. You have talked about how we can maintain a healthy lifestyle, and you've also talked about mental health too. And one thing I would love to add about mental health is like we talk about stress. Stress can be physical, can be psychological, can be financial. It could be from any area of life. And when people define stress, they say it is when the internal defenses, internal stabilizing processes can no longer cope with what is coming from external. So one of the things we can do to actually have a mentally healthy lifestyle and cope with stress is to actually cut our coat according to our clothes. There's a song that says, "No, do pass yourself," which means that
Mm.
don't do more than what you can do. Be very sincere, be very open, be very honest with yourself. Many a times, as men, we are trying to actually justify what the society expects from us. It could be financially, it could be career wise, it could be in any sphere of life. And we put all this pressure on ourselves. Sometimes we know that we are breaking down, we just feel that we need to be sincere with ourselves. We just feel that we need to be honest with ourselves. We just feel that we need to meet up with this demand from other sources. I think we need to be sincere with ourselves as men and actually know our capabilities as individuals and actually stick to what we can do. And in cases where we cannot meet up the expectations of other people, we can just apologize to them. I'm sorry, I may not be able to do this. This is what I'm capable of doing. It may be even sending money to relatives, it may be taking up some responsibilities. Because what I've come to realize is that people give more responsibilities to those who don't say no. Once people see you don't say no, they keep loading you and they feel that you are okay, but many a times you are not okay, and you should be able to tell them that, see, I don't have capacity for this. There is no race that we are running with anybody. Before we go, I would like to recognize Madam Mabel Ejim, and I would like to know if she has anything to say, to ask our guests, or to contribute to the show. And Mama Titu, any further questions or comments before we round up?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this session. Thank you, Dr. Adebi Olubi, right?
Olu.
Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much. This all the presentations have been so wonderful and really, really so insightful. And as the presentation was going on, I realized that yes, this topic is for men, but in actual sense, women can also borrow a leaf from um from this topic and learn, also apply it to their lives. My comment will basically be on the fact that there are many widows all over the world than widowers, and it's because of this simple fact that men, while they pay attention to the family, they struggle to send children to school, they pay house rent, they want to keep the family well and together, they neglect themselves. And you have mentioned something that is very key. You need to be well in order to help somebody else. So I'm employing our men to take care of themselves despite the situation around them, despite the economic situation, despite the whatever that is happening around them. all the challenges. This is because if they are no longer there, those people will still survive, but it will be in a different way. So it will be good they take a step back, watch their health, be conscious of what they eat, take rest at the time that it is required, and also do checkup, because many people don't do checkup. They just wing it thinking that I'm okay. So as you have advised, I want to employ our men to endeavor to do all that you have suggested for us in today's session. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Amati, do you have anything to say? All right. Doctor, I don't know whether you want to give us a take-home point or you want to just summarize what you said for us so that at least people who were not there from the start can take something home.
Thank you very much. As we round up, I want to once again remind us that men's health matters. Uh, we are human too, and anything that befall any gender can happen to us. And our health should be a personal priority. We have to do it ourselves. Nobody will do it for us. We should not forget that prevention is better than cure, and we should take preventive measures in living a healthy life, eating healthy, rest adequately, exercise, voice out and seek help when we feel overwhelmed. We should not bite more than we can chew, whether for personal reasons or for societal expectations. And lastly, we should always make recourse to our to the spiritual higher force in the place of prayer, meditation, mindfulness, and towards reduction of stress. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doctor. It has been a wonderful time talking to you. We've gained a lot from your expertise and your presentation and the way you answered the questions very, very comprehensively. As we draw the curtains on today's insightful episode of Real Men Talk Show, we want to express our gratitude to our incredible guests and to you, our engaged audience, for joining us in this essential conversation about prioritizing men's well-being. Remember, well-being is not a destination, it's a journey. It's a journey we continue to be on. We hope the discussion on mental health, physical fitness, nutrition, work-life balance, social connections, preventive health measures, and healthy sleep habits has sparked inspiration and provided practical insights for your journey. Let us continue and commit to implementing small changes that lead to significant improvement in our well-being. Reach out to your networks, get social support, schedule the health checkups. If you've not done it before, try and schedule an appointment with your doctor. Lace up those sneakers and prioritize sleep your body deserves. I want to appreciate you, Dr. Lubi, for finding time and giving us uh, such a wonderful lecture and presentation. Thank you very much for coming, sir.
Thank you for having me. It's been a great
I also
opportunity.
want to thank my co-host, Mama T. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Madam Mabel Ejim, thank you very much for coming on the show. And until next
Thank you
week,
so much, Dr.
when we
Julia.
will
It's
have
been an
another
insightful
topic.
one.
Yeah, until next week, when we'll have another topic, I want to say men's health is very, very important. Let us take care of our men. Until next week, I say have a wonderful week and bye for now.
Thank
You have a
you.
beautiful week ahead
Bye.
and stay healthy.
Have a wonderful
Thank you.
week ahead. Thank you, Dr. Olubi.
It's a pleasure. Bye bye.
From there she will enter estate.